the amount of times that someone has said like, "Oh yeah, this is an idea that I threw away. I didn't think was gonna be useful at all." And it doesn't matter who
Yeah.
you are or how there's a story about Stephen King. I believe it was Carrie, where he, that was one of his first, and he kind of threw it away and was like, "Oh, this will never do anything." And we saw what that became, and all the way down to those small brand new businesses that are starting up, ours included. Of um, like, oh, there's no way that this one-off design that took me 15 minutes to make with just me messing around is going to be anyone's going to want it. And then there's people, I need that. Not only do I want it, I need that thing that you were about to throw away. So it is always interesting as we go through these hobbies, these business ventures, um, to really see what other people respond to, because it isn't always the thing that we put tons of time and effort and are like, oh, this is going to be the greatest thing. And you get the shot lined up, or you have this idea and you think everyone is going to love this idea, and it just falls flat. um so the moral of that story really just being, sometimes you just gotta go for it, and make the mistake or see what's successful. And, I think people will be surprised the more and more you start to put yourself out there, the more and more you start to put the things that you're making out there, the ideas that you have out there. um, you end up being surprised what people respond to. Um, so I think that's
Agree.
my one of my biggest takeaways from starting businesses, is, hey, you just, all the planning in the world um, doesn't amount to actually just finally putting yourself on the line, and getting it out in front of people. So, and I think you
Well, the
and a
other thing,
lot I think you have are really kind of a testament to that, of like, man, I'm gonna go do the Warrior games. I'm gonna go do this thing over here. Hey, coffee, that
I gotta
sounds
make
cool.
coffee.
Let's do that. Like, a lot of people do not have that ability to just see something, be like, hey, you know what? Let me give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? So
I think
that.
there's that fear of failure,
Yeah.
and then we
Yeah.
we can be our own worst critics too. Where, oh, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. Or like you said, you can plan, you plan. You can put a ton of effort into trying to make something happen, and it's almost like it's not as genuine as when you just do it.
Yep.
When you're in the zone. I love doing woodworking. That's kind of my new hobby. I haven't done photography in years. So James, I want to talk to you more, man. But like
Hit me up
when I
whenever.
feel in the zone and I'm just doing, and I'm not worried about what anyone else thinks
Yeah.
or trying to be perfect, that's when good stuff comes out of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you get into the true artist aspect.
Those are my decompress days in the shop. Those are some of the best decompression days that I have in the shop, is when I have orders that need to be fulfilled, and I spend 2 or 3 days just becoming a heat cat out in the shop.
In the zone.
And on the fourth day, I'll walk out there and I'm like, all right, I'm not touching anything else. I'm going to sit here for probably 10, 15 minutes and just think and be in the space. I'm going to make something that, I've always wanted to try to do. I'm going to combine different materials into a ring that I've wanted to do for a long time. And it's probably going to break, but if it doesn't, then it'll be something cool. And those are the days where I turn the music up as loud as possible. I don't film anything, because it allows me to just focus on the thing. And when I walk out of the shop after that, I'm like, you know what? That was perfect. That's what I needed. I needed that refresh day to just go out there and throw some stuff at the wall and see what stuck. No pressure, no eyes on me. And, it helps me get out there the next day.
Do you think that's like, we're saying if you plan too much, over planning can be the enemy, and
Mhm.
expecting perfection is the enemy of good enough. And so when you're just performing, it's like you're striving to be your best, but you're not judging it
Yeah.
for perfection. So it's
Yeah.
it's a fine line you can dance when you're being critical of yourself. But if you can turn off that it has to be perfect and just strive to perform at your best, that's when perfection really comes. When you're not actually saying it has to be perfect and you're just doing it.
Absolutely. It's getting to that.
That's the thing with business. Like, Amanda, you started a number of businesses now. You didn't plan for perfection, I bet. You just made it happen, I'm sure, in some ways. And
I mean, honestly, very rarely did we even plan to turn it into a business. It was something, they've all been things that are like, hey, let's do this. This sounds like a great idea. And,
this will be entertaining to us.
Exactly. And